I'm sure many of you remember watching Dora the Explorer on Nick Jr. as little kids. But have you ever wondered why Dora has an anthropomorphic animal friends and interacts with us like we're there? Well, I'll tell you of how it all began. Dora was a 5-year-old girl who lived in a small, desecrated house in a Spanish slum. Dora was born into a family of poor factory workers and was the only child after her mother had ultimately deaf due to complications during the delivery of her first and only child. Now, believe it or not, Dora has dementia and schizophrenia, hence why she imagines her best friends being a giant red chicken, a blue bull, a green iguana, etc. Boots, on the other hand, is actually Dora's parole officer, who was hired by her father to protect the little girl from many dangerous thugs that roamed the streets. But Dora imagines her bodyguard as a gray monkey who wore red boots. Aside from that, she imagines the town as a rainforest with bizarre animals and people. Her mental illness was later diagnosed when she was forced to drop out of school by her teachers, due to her constantly banging her head on her desk multiple times with her head tilted to the side. This is pretty much the reason why Dora doesn't go to school in any episodes of the show. Now, you probably know Swiper the Fox, who always tries to steal her stuff. Well, actually, outside of Dora's mind, he was a masked knife man who tries to mug Dora, and whenever he did, Dora would say, "Swiper, no swiping," 3 times to the mugger. That didn't stop him as he decides to kill her, but runs away after her parole officer welds out her gun at the masked man. So yeah, Swiper didn't run away because Dora told him not to steal her belongings, but Boots had an invisible gun. Another thing that will shock you is that Tico is not a purple squirrel, but a PDF file who would try and kidnap Dora, but this leads to a road chase with the police as they try to save Dora, but she doesn't see Tico as a threat. So that's practically the theory of the story behind Dora the Explorer. But is it true? Will Dora ever find out the truth if it is? Well, I guess we'll never know. And that, my pretties, was Dora the Explorer Fury, a Dora the Explorer creepypasta written by DracoLumina12. Um, my final thoughts on this story. Now, I do remember coming across this story back sometime in 2019, and this story was made sometime in 2017, so it's an older story. So yeah, I definitely do need to sit here and be completely and utterly honest with you guys on this. This was actually a pretty interesting theory. I am going to admit that because it's just it's a really dark theory. I I'm not gonna lie, it is dark, but it actually wasn't that bad. I didn't expect it to be that good, but it is a pretty good story, Fury, about Boots being her bodyguard that her father hired, and, Dora has dementia and schizophrenia. That is actually quite believable. I actually can see it being the case because it actually explains it better, and that actually really helps with the story. Now, about, her dropped out when her mental illness was later diagnosed, that's actually a pretty possible theory too. And that pretty much is why Dora doesn't go to school in any of the episodes, which that is completely pretty much believable in a sense. Because I've never seen Dora go to a pretty much I've never seen her go to school in any episode. Well, I think Dora maybe went to school once, but I can't remember, honestly. It's been a long time since I've actually, stumbled across. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna sit here and say it's believable because it actually really helps out with the story. And the fact that, Tico the squirrel being a PDF file, I mean, I don't really think that would be a good. I don't see that being possible, but it is a possible theory. But at the same time, I find that really hard to believe, in my honest opinion. But that's just me being honest. That's just I'm just I'm just going to be brutally honest. That's just, me. But like I said, I really don't know. But it's kind of hard to say because you never know what really could happen when it comes to, these stuff. Now, I definitely do need to sit here and say is that while it's a very good Fury, um, it actually flows out well, but about Tico being a PDF file, yeah, I really don't see how that would be the case with Tico because I'm pretty sure Tico's a minor in the show. I could be wrong, however, because it doesn't really show the age of the kids. Maybe online, but that's just mainly about it. But anyway, I do have to sit here and say is the grammar was pretty good. It was readable. I can definitely say that. It was readable. It was pretty good, to be honest. And I personally really enjoy this video, this story. It has a really good concept, which I really do enjoy that a whole lot. I personally thought it was a really good story. I mean, it is believable, I will say, but I actually really thought it was enjoyable for, you know, a story. So, yeah, I mean, this is just gonna be me being brutally honest, is that this story, honestly, it does need, a bit of, well, maybe a bit more expand, perhaps. That's probably how I would make the story better, is maybe expand. That's pretty much how I would, how I would make it better if I wanted to make the story better. That's mainly what I would do personally. I mean, that's just me, but, everybody has their own opinions. But like I said, this story was not that bad. I personally really thought it was enjoyable. I mean, it's pretty good. Some stuff about the Fury, I kind of find it hard to believe, but at the same time, but I definitely do say is most of it is believable in a sense. But yeah, I personally do need to sit here and say is that this story was actually pretty good, despite the Tico being a PDF file. I don't really see that being the case, but at the same time, you never really know. So, anyways, I'm gonna sit here and say, like I'm always gonna continue to say, and like I always continue to say, this is simply my own personal opinion, and if you happen to disagree with it, that's perfectly fine too. We're all entitled to our own opinions in regards to these creepypastas. This is simply my own personal thoughts. I'm going to give this story a 9 out of 10. It's a very good Fury. It definitely explains and it actually helps out with the story, which I really do like. But about Tico being a PDF file, yeah, that has knocked down a point because I don't see that being the case with Tico the squirrel. But yeah, I haven't watched Dora in like ages, so yeah, my mind is kind of fuzzy on this, but it's still a pretty interesting story. I personally really enjoyed it. So, anyways, with that being said, what did you guys personally think of this story? Did you all enjoy it? Did you all not? Also, what you have done personally to help make this story a lot better? Feel free to let me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section down below. I'm Shadow the Lion Queen. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and if you're new to my channel, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you're new. Ring the bell for notifications to when I upload, so that way you guys will not miss an upload. As always, if you guys want to go follow me on my social media pages, links to all those will be in the About page section, so you guys can go follow me to interact with me and stuff like that. And as always, if you guys enjoyed this video, I will be seeing you all in the next video. Peace out, and like always, roll the outro because I'm out. What's up, my pretties? It's the Lion Queen here. I want to appreciate you all for tuning into this video, and I do appreciate you guys supporting my video by giving this video likes and stuff. If you really enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, comment and subscribe if you're new, ring the bell for notifications to when I upload so that way you guys will get updated for whenever I upload. If you want to follow me on Twitter or DeviantArt, feel free to leave a follow on those if you are interested in following me on those socials. If you want to support my backup channel, known as Ms. Dark Shigo, feel free to subscribe to it, as a link to that will also be in the About page section. And with that being said, and that being the case, thank you so much for watching, my pretties, and as always, stay pretty.